The following program, The Russ Belville Show, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate to the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity and encourage all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers on The Russ Belville Show are their own, and The Russ Belville Show cannot be held legally responsible for their validity or reliability. Viewer discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey! Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think that we need to rethink it and criminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Yeah, I hear you had a question for me.
Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
Good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome to the show. It is Wednesday, February 26, 2014, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. So glad you could make it here on this Hemp Day Hump Day, because we have got a very special show for you today. Lindsay Reinhart, my friend from the Undergreen Railroad, will be joining us, and I think she's coming live into the studio along with Bill Esbison, the owner of the 45th Parallel Dispensary out in Ontario, Oregon. The two of them are here to discuss Undergreen Railroad, and joining us via Skype, we are going to have 8 of the families, or representatives from 8 of the families that Undergreen Railroad has either helped or is helping to move from their state in order to access medical marijuana. We're talking about a lot of these families with young children in need of that high CBD oil as well. So we will run that for the entire show today from half past all the way through hour 2. That's right, a 90-minute visit with the families telling their stories of emigrating from their home states to medical marijuana states or marijuana-friendly states in order to access the medicine they need. We're going to start that at half past. It's based with the Undergreen Railroad. We encourage you to check them out on Facebook and support them as best you can. This immigration from the states is something we intend to document and show the statistics of just how much talent and economic engine is leaving these states, how much brain drain, how much great workers, great parents, how many great taxpayers are leaving their states simply because they can't access marijuana. And we hope that information changes some hearts and minds throughout the heartland of this country. So that's coming up today. We've also got a behind the headlines. About 3 years ago, I wrote an article called The Danger of Dabs. And in it, I tried to explain how eventually the mainstream media was going to seize upon dabs as a new way of trying to defeat marijuana legalization, trying to scare the public. Well, I hate to be proven right. It's in CNBC today called called Dabs, Marijuana's Explosive Cousin, or Explosive Secret. Man, I'm having trouble today. Dabs, Marijuana's Explosive Secret. That'll be in our Behind the Headlines segment. We've also got our Daily Toker Tunes. Gordon Green will be calling in from Spain with some unfortunate news and a dedication from the world of flamenco. But we'll start everything off with the 420 Radio News headlines. We got headlines from Maryland, from Texas, and from all around the country. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Hey, tokers and tokettes, Radical Russ here to introduce you to my friend Matt and all the staff at Lush LED Lighting. Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. If you thought LEDs were meet the tech of today, Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Let's just say I appear at a lot of events with the masters of indoor horticulture, and the harvests I saw from Lush LED lighting were big, tight, sticky, and very effective. Check out LushLEDlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Double your rewards and lower your expenses with Lush LED lighting. .420 Radio is 24-hour marijuana legalization radio. I'm Radical Russ Belville, and I want to thank you for listening to 420 Radio. We couldn't survive without you and our sponsors, and I'd like you to check out one of our prime sponsors, the National Cannabis Coalition. I've been working with NCC since June of 2012, and I'm proud to be part of the team they have assembled. National Cannabis Coalition is building the partnerships with reformers, lawmakers, and industry we need to be successful. Visit the National Cannabis Coalition website at nationalcannabiscoalition.com or the easier-to-remember ncc420.com. That's where you'll get the exclusive first look at my radical rants, as well as informative articles from the nation's top cannabis pundits. Visit ncc420.com today, and if you have your phone handy, text Russ to 420-420 to support NCC and 420 Radio. It's a free text message that helps us help you end adult marijuana prohibition. Learn more at ncc420.com, and thanks for supporting independent marijuana legalization public radio. This is your 420 Radio News for Wednesday, February 26, 2014, brought to you by the National Cannabis Coalition. I'm Russ Belville. Lawmakers in Maryland are moving ahead with decriminalization and legalization bills despite opposition from law enforcement and the governor. Lawmakers feel the decriminalization bill has the best chance of passing, as Governor O'Malley has signaled his opposition to outright legalization. The bill to legalize marijuana for adults is estimated to bring in $100 to $130 million for the state. Senator Jamie Raskin, a legalization supporter, said, quote, "We have criminalized and demonized tens of thousands of our fellow Marylanders, and yet we have not put a dent into the demand for the drug," end quote. In opposition, head of the Maryland Chiefs of Police, Michael Pristoop, warned the lawmakers about the 37 overdose deaths that occurred in Colorado after legalization, citing a satirical story for which he has now apologized. Chief Pristoop added, quote, "This does not take away from the other facts presented in opposition to legalization," and warned, "We believe it sends a horrible message to our kids who otherwise have been told consistently that marijuana is dangerous," end quote. The San Diego City Council has passed medical marijuana zoning regulations even stricter than the 2011 regulations activists worked to repeal. In an 8-1 vote, the council ruled there could be no more than 4 dispensaries per city council district. Dispensaries must be 1,000 feet from the usual schools, parks, playgrounds, etc., and also must be 100 feet or more from a residential area. Zoning will force most dispensaries into industrial areas, and they will be inspected annually by the San Diego Police Department. Dispensaries are banned from having any doctors on site for writing recommendations. The new regulations are considered stricter than the regulations established in 2011, which activists gathered enough signatures to force the council to rescind. That had the effect on making all dispensaries legal, and now most of them will be forced to close thanks to the new regulations. Less than 1 in 4 Texans would maintain absolute prohibition on marijuana. A new poll from the University of Texas and the Texas Tribune found that only 23% of Texans believed marijuana possession should not be legal under any circumstances. Another 28% of Texans believe marijuana possession should be legal for medical purposes only, leaving 49% of the state in support of legalization for healthy people. Those who support legalization break 2-1 in favor of possession of small amounts of marijuana for any purpose at 32%, versus those who favor legalization of any amount at 17%. The governor of Rhode Island, Lincoln Chafee, has signaled his openness to signing a marijuana legalization bill. Governor Chafee attended the National Governors Association winter meeting in Washington, D.C., and told a Bloomberg reporter the fiscal reports from Colorado's legalization, quote, opened a lot of eyes, end quote, and that he would not rule out signing tax and regulate legislation. 2 weeks ago, Senator Joshua Miller and Representative Edith Aiello introduced bills that would allow adults 21 and older to possess an ounce, grow 2 plants, and shop at 10 pot shops statewide. Marijuana would be taxed at $50 per ounce from grower to shop and taxed 10% from shop to consumer. Chafee's willingness to approach legalization shows how far marijuana politics have come from 3 years ago, when U.S. attorney threats caused him to delay the opening of state-regulated medical marijuana dispensaries. Activists in our nation's capital spoke before the District of Columbia Board of Elections, urging them to allow a marijuana legalization initiative on the ballot. Last week, D.C. Attorney General Irvin B. Nathan urged the Elections Board to reject the proposed ballot initiative. Nathan says the initiative runs afoul of federal marijuana prohibition and would disproportionately affect the poor who rely on federal housing, which will evict them for marijuana even if D.C. says it is legal. Adam Eidinger, a leading activist for the initiative, explained that, quote, the civil rights issue is with the federal government, not us. We're trying to alleviate the problem, end quote. The board will decide the issue next week, whether activists can go forward and collect 25,000 signatures to put it on the ballot. If passed, D.C. would legalize the possession of 2 ounces of marijuana and 3 plants. Also next week, the D.C. City Council is expected to approve a measure decriminalizing personal possession of marijuana. Tomorrow, Minnesota NORML will be hosting a presentation of American Spirits, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition at the Minnesota History Center in St. Paul. Speakers include Keith Stropp, the founder of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, Major Neil Franklin, Executive Director of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, and me, Russ Belville, from 420 Radio. The exhibit includes more than 100 rare artifacts. Tickets are available online from Minnesota NORML at mnnormal.org. This has been your 420 Radio News for Wednesday, February 26, 2014. I'm Russ Belville. Transcripts of 420 Radio News are available exclusively at the National Cannabis Coalition. Visit ncc420.com to download today. When we come back, we'll go behind the headlines on my unfortunate prophecy, The Danger of Dabs, from December of 2011, which now seems to have come true in CNBC's latest article. Dabs, marijuana's explosive secret. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. Please do not give up your precious liberties. There's nothing wrong with standing up for our constitutional rights, and in fact, it's the best way to honor the Constitution that recognizes our natural rights. Treat law enforcement with respect and respect the Constitution by standing up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak with my attorney, Omar Figueroa. Omar Figueroa has more than a decade of experience in federal and California courts and graduated from Yale University, Stanford Law School, and Trial Lawyers College. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at omarfigueroa.com.
I'm Sub Cool from Team Green Avenger. At TGAgenetics.com, we are working on the leading edge of medical strains. Our strains are rigorously tested for THC, CBD, THCV, and other critical cannabinoids. Know your grow. Check out our genetic diversity at TGAgenetics.com, the home of Jelly Bean, Jack the Ripper, Vortex, and other award-winning cannabis strains.
Got a comment, question, complaint, or request for 420radio.org? Visit our contact page at 420radio.org/contact today. Welcome back, everybody. Quarter after the hour, and today in Behind the Headlines, we're going to a CNBC story that's entitled Dabs, Marijuana's Explosive Secret, and just hit today in the Marijuana in America Colorado Pot Rush section that they're doing. They're having a big premiere on that tonight. And so going along with this big premiere, this story, Dabs, Marijuana's Explosive Secret. It also contains some video that you can check out on their website at cnbc.com. They explain how a single trend may be poised to tarnish the natural and healthy image of legal weed, hash oil concentrate. Now, this goes back in December of 2011. I wrote an article called The Danger of Dabs. It appeared in Kush magazine. I rewrote a little bit, and it also appeared in High Times. And the basic thesis was that just like how marijuana decriminalization had its upswing in the late 1970s, only to be dashed by parents groups who suddenly found it to be, found it along with the party drugs of cocaine that was popular in the 80s and all the gas mask bongs they could show, managed to have a moral panic and a revolt against decriminalization. And I argued that dabs could end up having the same sort of effect because of the optics of it, because of the blowtorch, because of the exploding apartments and exploding hotel rooms. I got a lot of flack for the article. I tried to explain I got nothing against dabs myself. Hell, you seen me do them on the show. I love them. They're just fine for me. But I also recognize the public relations issue in this, and that's what's coming out here in this CNBC story. Part of what they're trying to do with this is to try to frame it as if concentrates are some new drug and something that's not natural. They're trying to separate marijuana, which is now enjoying this image of being natural, organic, it's just a plant, it's an herb, to concentrates, which involve these household chemicals and exploding gases, and they're far more potent. One of the lines they have in here, making it can be explosive. In fact, all over the country, people have been exploding kitchens and basements trying to make their own butane hash oil. And they point out later in the article that the city of Aurora, Colorado, one of the Denver suburbs, doesn't allow pot shops, right? It's got a pot shop ban. Since in the past 4 months, they've had 4 separate explosions in Aurora of people blowing up themselves trying to make hash oil. That's an average of 1 a month. And you think that's going to make people notice? I think it is. They point out in the article how marijuana might contain 15 to 18% THC on average. Hash oil concentrate gets closer to 80 or 90%. Not that that matters, but the follow-up sentence, the high that a user gets from concentrates is far from natural, and the method by which hash oil is made sounds anything but healthy. So here's again, they're trying to paint this frame that concentrates are somehow unnatural. They're also trying to paint the frame that it's some sort of new thing that's popped up here. They have a line here that says hash oil concentrate isn't new, but the current version is. The recent incarnation appears on the scene only about 4 years ago, according to marijuana.com. As if no one was ever using butane before to strip and make hash oil. I call bullshit on that. I've got the old High Times magazines to prove it. And as it goes on, they show pictures from a couple of the explosions that have happened, a wall that's blown out here. And they do mention that according to the people in Denver that are running the pot shops, that concentrates still aren't as popular as flowers. They're still making up only about 10% of the sales that are going on at the pot shops. They have the usual rehab people in here and Drug Enforcement Administration people in here saying how awful it is. The DEA has recently created a new drug code for extracts so they can start to track better what's going on with extracts. The Kind Mine store in Idaho Springs, Colorado says it's flying off the shelves. We have it back ordered from the manufacturer now. It's a trend. It seems to be very popular with the young people. And at Denver's Green Solution Dispensary, Harrison Garcia says dabs have become a culture unto themselves. There are serious dab people who only dab and do not even smoke flower because it's just not strong enough for them. So this is something that we have to think about and how we're going to approach the media and approach our fellow concentrate users, and how are we going to mitigate the problems with this. It also continues in here about the optics of the blowtorches. The line they write here is, there's still the unhealthy Breaking Bad image of actually smoking the concentrates called dabbing. The whole problem may have something to do with blowtorches. And so they describe how you dab and how the blowtorches are used. And again, that's the optics part of this, and the framing here, trying to make it as if concentrates are something new, something incredibly dangerous that we've never seen before, and something that's unnatural. We need to counter those frames by saying there's nothing more natural than concentrates. It's the natural pure extract of the plant. It's just as natural as a vanilla extract would be. But I hate being proven right on these media predictions. I hope people have been thinking about that and are willing to work with us to try to put the best light on these things. All right, stick around. We got our Daily Toker Tunes coming up next.
Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Let him bring in the beat.
Adam Hand of Handmade Apparel produces quality custom designs for t-shirts, hats, and other apparel. Handmade Apparel is the official design shop for 420 Radio, The Russ Belville Show, Ganja John, and Cascadia Concentrates, among many clients who rely on Adam Hand for everything from short-run custom projects to full-run clothing lines. Adam's meticulous designs are individually crafted and screened in vibrant, high-definition color. Visit handmadeapparel.biz to browse the selection of handmade gear or to get a personal quote for your own designs. Handmade Apparel, a proud supporter of 420radio.org.
Let him bring in the beat.
Support the Russ Belville Show. Text the word Russ to 420-420 and connect with the National Cannabis Coalition. You can also send $10 to the Russ Belville Show right from your smartphone. That's Russ to 420-420. You're listening to Radical Russ on the Russ Belville Show. Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Irie Wednesday, featuring reggae, ska, and other world music genres. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
Welcome back, everybody. 23 after the hour, and it's time for our Irie Wednesday Daily Toker Tunes. And we've got Gordon Green on the line from Spain. Gordon, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Russ. How about yourself?
Glad to hear from you. I'm glad you're doing well, and I understand you're headed out to Spanibus very soon.
Hey, man. Spanibus is in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks from tomorrow starts. It's going to be 3 days. They're expecting over 21,000 people. They have expanded. Imagine, if you can, a convention center with a huge parking lot. This year they've taken over the parking lot and set up temporary tents and things like that. It's gotten so big. And going to hook up with Jorge Cervantes. Going to hook up with Cannabis Cure UK. And some other well-known personalities from our industry.
Right on, man. Looking forward to your coverage of that. And for our tune today, we have a bit of unfortunate sadness to report. And it comes from the world of, well, my ex-wife used to call it fandango music, but it's flamenco music. And can you tell us more about today's song?
It is flamenco music, and that's right, man. The flamenco guitarist, virtuoso master, Paco de Lucia, died last night in Mazatlan, Mexico, vacationing with his family. guess he was just playing on the beach with his kids and suffered a heart attack and took his life. He was an incredible technical master of the instrument and started releasing albums in the 60s, released them up until I think 2010 was his last release, and he gave concerts up until last year in Tunisia. He really didn't like touring too much, and have been fortunate enough to see him actually 3 times, which as you know, I'm in Barcelona right now. I've never met any Spanish people that have seen him 3 times. I saw him twice with his flamenco troupe, and once with, he's also in the group called Guitar Trio with 2 other virtuosos, Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin.
Jeez.
And the guitar world lost a true hero today. I'm playing a song called Rumba Improvisada. That means improvised rumba, and it's an instrumental. He worked with lots of singers, but I thought let Paco shine today. And this is it, man. Hope you dig it, and rest in peace, man.
Support the Russ Belville Show. Text the word Russ to 420-420 and connect with the National Cannabis Coalition. You can also send $10 to the Russ Belville Show right from your smartphone. That's Russ to 420-420.
In the afternoon, if I'm home, I smoke marijuana.
You're listening to Radical Russ on the Russ Belville Show.
Marijuana, yeah, yeah. I got my ganja.
A cannabis broadcast with John K. and Scott W. from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Canada, every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. GMT, right here on 420radio.org. In 1929, Pauline Sabin began the women's movement to end alcohol prohibition. 4 years later, the 21st Amendment was passed. Women are crucial to ending adult marijuana prohibition, and we celebrate women's marijuana activism in a segment we call Ladies of Legalization.
Welcome back, everybody. 32 after the hour, and I'm still setting up the phone call, the conference call with everyone from the Undergreen Railroad who's going to be a part of this discussion. Lindsay Reinhardt hasn't made it in yet. I'm going to have to pull up her phone number as well. So if you'll give me just a quick break for a moment, I will come right back as soon as I've got all the calls set up. Stay tuned.
I feel high, oh, the light in your eye. Yeah. The road of individuality is not a straight line. The way you snuck up on me, well, words cannot define. From me to you, people of speciality make me feel fine. Cashmere sweater, sweet one, loved it sublime. I feel high, oh, the light in your eyes makes me.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Hold on just a moment. All right, I think we'll be gone now. I'm going to try to catch Ellie. You guys ready?
Du bist mein Licht, du bist mein Leben, Leute bis heute. Ich bin die ganze Welt, ich hab keine Lust runter. Du bist mein Licht, du bist mein Leben, Leute bis heute. Ich bin die ganze Welt gereist, ich hab kein besseres Land gefunden. I feel high, oh, the light in your eyes makes me I feel high, oh, the light in your eyes makes me.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is 34 after the hour, and we're trying to get our Undergreen Railroad segment put together. Just going to add Lindsay Reinhardt to the call, so give me one more second. Just got her number in the chat. And I apologize, folks. My call screener's not here today, and on the day that I really, really needed him. All right, can you hear me out there, Lindsay?
I sure can.
Oh, fantastic. What a relief. Thank you for working with me. We're doing a live special here on the Undergreen Railroad, and my guest today is Lindsay Reinhardt. And of course, we know Lindsay, her story coming from Idaho, dealing with multiple sclerosis. We had a protest when her children got taken away by the state. She's now moved to Oregon and has taken the reins of Undergreen Railroad. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the organization and where you're at so far?
Well, Undergreen Railroad was started in September-ish. We got paperwork on the ground and turned in December, and I just got more paperwork turned in last week. We've got 4 completed moves. We have 8 people on their way to Colorado right now, and 3 other moves that we're currently working on to other places like Oregon. And then we're backlogged. We actually had to take down our application button as soon as we put it up. We couldn't even put the application up because we were so swamped. And then we made it to where people were just kind of PMing us, telling us their story. We could fill out, kind of what their seriousness was and then send them an application. And we got to the point where we even had to stop doing that.
Wow.
And so now we are just backlogged. And we're 9 volunteers, and we're trying our hardest, but we're people, and we have lives and children, and it's very hard, and so we are just doing the best we can.
Well, I think you're doing a great job, and I understand you got some media attention recently.
We did. We got a lot of media attention. It was really neat. We try to generate media for each person that is traveling, but we also have tried to get bigger media because every time they come to our page and feature us nationally, then we figure they'll all get attention too. So I did an interview with CNBC, and it went really, really well, to the point that actual NBC picked it up, and so they took it off of their internet desk and ran with that. And then I interviewed for CNN. They're doing a sequel to the weed documentary that Sanjay Gupta did, and I haven't heard or seen anything on that one yet, but I'm really excited for it because it's going to be pretty neat.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
we're looking forward to that.
We just had CNN just contacted one of our moves just a few minutes ago, too, so that's like on the forefront.
Wow, that's fantastic news, Lindsay. Glad to hear it. And folks, if you want to get involved with Undergreen Railroad, they could really use your help. They need volunteer help. If you're someone who knows web coding or database design in particular, you could help out there. Always could use money to help promote these kind of actions. And again, we're trying to help folks that are stuck in these states, these unfriendly states, to migrate to a state that is a little friendlier to them. And we have 4 such immigrants on the line with us: Victoria, Seth, Pamela, and Stephanie. Let me start with Victoria. Victoria, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Can you tell us where your home is and where you wish to move to?
I currently live in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm looking to move to Denver, Colorado.
What is the reason that's making it so urgent for you to move?
For me personally, it's chronic back pain that started when I was 18. I also have PTSD from traumatic childhood experiences, and there's also some degenerative joint disease and things like that going on. So I'm in a lot of constant pain. So I'd like to be able to be in a safe access state so that I can medicate properly.
And is this something that you've just recently come to learn, that cannabis can help you medically? Did you have to go through a lot of other treatments before you found that out?
Yes, I started on pain pills and muscle relaxers as I was first diagnosed when I was 18. After approximately a year on those, I had some issues with them, and a friend of mine recommended cannabis, and I'm a DARE product, so I was like, oh, that's a drug, I don't know anything about that, and I was scared, and I went ahead and tried it, and sure enough, within 3 puffs of a cannabis joint, I was able to relieve more pain and stress than I had ever been able to on any of the pharmaceuticals. And I know that now, after having done more research, I know for a fact that I can do so much more than what it can do for me, and I know it can help so many people. So that's what made me want to jump on the bandwagon as far as being an activist and starting to spread that education as far as I could. And that inevitably led me to Underground Railroad, where I'm going to be helping out as a conductor as well to kind of pay it forward to help others who are looking. And
Victoria was an interesting move in that when she applied for her move, she was very emphatic and alert in that she wanted to help. She wanted to pay it forward, and she didn't want to wait to pay it forward. She wanted to pay it forward right now because she believes in it so strong. So we're very grateful to have Victoria's help. She is helping with our Facebook and our internet, just kind of keeping things running more smoothly with the lists that we have had to make and stuff like that. So she's a huge asset to us as well.
That's excellent. And Victoria, it's got to be kind of disheartening, though, to find out that cannabis works for you and then find, wait a minute, I'm in Texas. I can get arrested for this.
Exactly. My story is a little different in the fact that I actually have lived 11 years in Hawaii where they have medical cannabis. So I actually had a medical card there and found that it helped me there. One of the challenging things about Hawaii and when they received their medical status in 2000 is they never put into law to have dispensaries. So Hawaii patients are forced to still either go underground or grow their own, and I tried, but I was not good at it. So I needed to be able to have safe access, and here in Texas it just wasn't happening. After a few changes in my life, I had to move here to Texas, and realizing what things were like here. I've been here 2 years, and I've been trying to leave ever since I got here.
Well, we'll see if the Underground Railroad can help you out. We've also got Seth on the line. Seth, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Oh, I'm getting two Seths. Are you there? Are you there, Seth?
Yes, I am. Oh, Seth or Steph?
Oh, Seth, S-E-T-H.
Yeah, hey, bud. That's me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we have a Seth and a Steph. Okay, well, Stephanie. I'll say Stephanie, and we will be able to keep it straight. Seth, can you tell us a little of your story about why you're seeking the Underground Railroad?
Yeah, basically, I've had problems dealing with seizures most of my life. I was born with cerebral palsy on my right side. Started developing multiple sclerosis at the age of 13. And how I actually got involved in the cannabis movement is I got pressured into using cannabis when I was a teenager. And when I found out all of these studies that they was doing on kids and whatnot, and they was practically curing them, I started doing my own research, getting more involved in it, and as time went on, I was trying to get help in my state, and I organized a rally in Tennessee about a month ago, and after the rally, I've had some personal issues come up with cops watching me, stuff like that, and the stress of it is getting to me so bad that my seizures are actually getting worse, and I just need to seek help immediately.
Now, Seth, I'm sorry, did you mention which state you were in?
Oh, I'm from Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay. So we've got Texas, we've got Tennessee, and, some people will say, we should fight to change the laws. We shouldn't have to move, but it sounds like in a case like yours, you really can't wait.
No, actually, I'm in a hard bind right now. Tennessee actually has a medical marijuana bill in the legislature right now, and it's going in front of the Health Committee on March 11th. I'm probably going to be testifying at that hearing, and if it doesn't pass, then we'll have to wait until there's a presidential candidate that will want it legalized, or I have to go out there to Colorado.
Yeah, and so now you're looking at uprooting yourselves and your family and trying to move to a place you've never lived before, find a job. It sounds like it's really intimidating to have to try to undertake, wouldn't you say?
Me personally, I think when it comes to my health, I will do anything to get the right help I need and the safest help that doesn't cause any side effects, no deaths, nothing. I'm willing to do anything to get the help I need. I'm willing to go through the challenges.
Well, good for you, man. All right, we are going to take a short break here, but stay on the line because we've got more people with the Undergreen Railroad to talk to. We've got Pamela and Stephanie on the line. We've got Lindsay Reinhart, the executive director of the Undergreen Railroad. And if you want to help, just check out Undergreen Railroad on Facebook. You can get a hold of them. If you've got money to donate, you've got skills, time to donate, anything you can do to help these patients who are trying to move out of a restrictive red state and get themselves to a green state. We want to help them out. I got a lot of friends, a lot of family that have been through that way myself, and at least 11 or 12 of them we've moved out at this point. So I know what it's like to have to move to a new place. I know how intimidating it can be. All right, we're going to take our break, like I said, and when we come back, more with the Undergreen Railroad special. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Russ Belville Show. Okay, unmute your...
The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
Georgia.
Hi, this is Willie Nelson, and I need your help. Alcohol prohibition didn't work in the 20s, and marijuana prohibition isn't working today. It's time we stop arresting law-abiding citizens because they prefer marijuana over alcohol. Nearly 2,000 Americans are arrested every day on marijuana charges. We're unfairly destroying the lives and careers of hundreds of thousands of people each year simply because they smoke marijuana. These are not criminals. They're average citizens like you, good neighbors who work hard, raise families, pay taxes, and contribute to their communities. We need your help to end marijuana prohibition once and for all. It's the fair thing to do.
For more information, contact NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Call toll-free 888-67-NORML or visit their website at norml.org.
420 Radio, the activist radio station.
Man, is that the reefer man?
That's the reefer man.
I believe he's losing his mind.
I think he's lost his mind.
This is a Russ Belville Show news alert. Whatever you do, don't smoke pot. You don't want to turn out to be a loser, like Olympian Michael Phelps, actor Jack Nicholson,
singer Miley Cyrus, rocket scientist Dr. Carl Sagan, pop star Rihanna,
actress Cameron Diaz, country legend Willie Nelson, President Barack Obama, Cy Young pitcher Tim Lincecum,
Have you ever met that funny reefer man? Have you ever met that funny reefer man? If he says he swam to China and he sell you South Carolina, then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
And over 100 million other Americans.
Have you ever met funny reefer man? If he says he walks the ocean, anytime he takes a notion, then you know you're talking to the reefer man.
awesome.
Welcome back, everybody. It's now 49 after the hour, and we are on the line with members of the Undergreen Railroad. The executive director, Lindsay Reinhart. We've just spoken with Victoria and Seth. They're trying to make their way across the country from Texas and Tennessee, respectively, to treat their illnesses, their disabilities with medical cannabis. We've got a few more on the line. We're going to go now to Pamela. Pamela, how are you today?
I'm great. My children are being a little loud right this moment. I'm very sorry.
It's okay. We love kids. Pamela, so as you're, first of all, which state are you in or trying to escape from?
I am in Georgia.
Oh, boy. Okay. So Georgia, real tough state for cannabis consumers. And is this a medical need for yourself or part of your family?
This is a medical need for myself and my two children.
Okay. Can you tell us a little of your story?
I myself have Lyme disease, chronic Lyme disease, and I have had this, apparently it turns out I've had it all my life, because I in turn gave it to my oldest, my oldest child is 20, and my daughter has it as well. But for me, I was misdiagnosed in 2004 as MS, so I went from 2004 to 2012 thinking that I had MS and treating MS. In 2011, I got an IV treatment that just made me bedridden for 2 weeks. And that's when I began to question whether that was a correct diagnosis. And it took me going to 3 different doctors to get a new workup done. And finally, they tested me for Lyme disease. And I received a 28-day IV antibiotic treatment after the test came back positive for Lyme. And that's when all my problems really got extremely worse. I was already to the point of, being severely disabled, but after the IV treatment, it just made things a million times worse, and I'm barely functioning now.
So you've got these terrible treatments you have to go through for this Lyme disease. How did you discover medical cannabis, and what effect has it had for you?
Well, I had been a consumer of cannabis for a while, and I knew that it helped my chronic pain. I suffer through chronic pain that never goes away, 24 hours a day, and it was the only thing that gave me any sort of relief. And so at that point, I knew that it had medical properties, but I hadn't yet heard of cannabis oil. I had seen the Sanjay Gupta documentary Weeds, and I also had seen Rick Simpson's Run from the Cure. I came across the Run from the Cure first, and that's what sent me exploring the internet for anything I could find on cannabis oil and Lyme disease. And I discovered a young lady named Shelley White who had cured her Lyme disease with cannabis oil. And then my daughter was having seizures. She started having seizures at 2. And so when her seizures got really worse, I had made the choice that we had to move. I was going to wait around in Georgia for a law to get passed here, but when my daughter's condition deteriorated, I just knew that we couldn't wait. And her symptoms are getting worse and worse by the day. She has started having nosebleeds, and these nosebleeds are like every other day. She's getting headaches, and the doctors don't know how to help her. Conventional medicine hasn't done anything to help her. She's been on antibiotic treatments to try to treat the Lyme disease, and that has not helped. She's been on medications to try to control the seizures, and that hasn't helped either. So cannabis oil is really a viable option for us. I see all these documentaries that are very hopeful and inspiring, and hearing stories of people here healing their illnesses, and I just can't sit here in Georgia and wait for us to die.
Wow.
And we have a bill here that they're trying to pass, but unfortunately it was a CBD-only bill. And while that would help Riley's seizures, I do not think that it will kill the Lyme bacteria in our body. I have researched and I've discovered that most people that see a full healing with cannabis oil are using a combination oil of high CBD and high THC oil. So we need to have access to that, and we can do that in Colorado. But unfortunately, it's probably going to be a very long time before we can do that here, because they're trying to pass the CBD law, and they're blocking THC and the other components of the marijuana plant. So, I'm trying to help legalize a whole plant law here in our state, but we do not seem to be making very much progress. Yeah. The bill has stalled because they do not want to allow cultivation. But I just saw an article where if the first bill doesn't pass, then they're trying to put in another bill to allow cultivation in our state.
Good news there,
but
at
it
least.
could still be several years before we even have access to this.
Yes, it's going to take some time. And so we're speaking with multiple folks here that are seeking refuge in a medical marijuana state, Colorado or Oregon or wherever it might be. We've spoken with Victoria from Texas, Seth from Tennessee, Pamela from Georgia. Let's go now to Stephanie. Stephanie, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Stephanie, which state are you calling from, and what is compelling you to make this move?
I'm also from Texas, and I am moving to Colorado for my daughter Shania. She was born with a genetic disorder that's caused her multiple neurological issues, one of them being intractable epilepsy. And intractable epilepsy is an epilepsy that is hard to treat and to get under control. And she has seizures almost daily, and she's only 3 years old. And we are actually on 4 FDA-approved medications, not including her emergency medicine. And we've had surgery on her. She has the vagal nerve stimulator, which is kind of like a pacemaker for her brain. That hasn't tremendously helped. It maybe helped a little bit, but it was not as successful as we had hoped. And now they're telling us that the only other option we might really have is a lobotomy, which it would be towards the back of her brain,
oh my God,
where her vision is controlled, and it would probably leave her blind. And with that, they said even if they were to remove that part of her brain, it would still not cure her because of the malformation of her brain, that there are other little nodules creating the seizures.
Does it frustrate and infuriate you that people would offer to cut chunks out of your little child's brain before they would allow an oil from a plant?
It really does. And, and the sad thing is, I have 2 other children along with my, where our whole family is having to pack up and move for a natural plant, a God-given plant, a healing plant. It does infuriate me. We're having to leave everything that we love and know behind to seek refuge in our own country for something that I believe is a God-given right. This is something that could help our children, help our families, help our loved ones, and it's okay to shove down these FDA-approved medications with long-term side effects, but it's not okay to give oil from a plant that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's maddening, it's infuriating, it's cruel and unusual punishment. I think it's a constitutional violation in some sort of way. It's just ridiculous, and we're so glad you all are standing up to fight this. Now, please stay on the line with us. We're going to have to take a break as we move into the next hour, but there's so much more we have to ask, and we'll also take questions from our live chat room if you have questions for the Undergreen Railroad families. And I want to also thank Lindsay Reinhardt and the Undergreen Railroad for making this all possible. Lindsay, thanks for this show idea, by the way.
Yeah, you're more welcome. Thank you so much for helping these families.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. We all do.
Yeah, anything I can do. Like I said, I've moved a few people that are friends and family of mine out here to Oregon, but it's been a while since we just want to make this bigger. We want to take this to a larger degree and help as many people as we can. All right, stay on the line. I'll turn you back over to Brian the Red here for you guys that are on the conference call, and I will just close up the show. I want to thank you all for joining us here on the Russ Belville show here on 420radio.org. And also, I hope you enjoyed our recent 420 radio website redesign. If you haven't logged on, check it out. It should load faster, be easier, more streamlined to navigate. There's a new navigation bar up along the top. Everything that used to be in the control panel is right up there. For Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for Hour 2, more live with the Undergreen Railroad when we come back. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it,